Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, guys. How are you? I hope you're doing well. With you, Mr. Ibrahim Hajaj, and this is our final revision for pre-calculus final exam. Let's get started by the first question. Divide. Write your answer in simplest fraction form. So to divide here, we have to use long division. Okay, let's divide 6x to the power of 4 minus 29x to the power of 3, then plus 9x squared, and then minus x plus 7, and this is all divided by x squared minus 5x plus 2. Okay, the first step is to find a number here multiplied by x squared, gonna give us 6x to the power of 4, which is 6x to the power of 2. And multiply by using distributive property, gonna give us 6x to the power of 4 minus 30x to the power of 3. Okay, and then plus 12x to the power of 2. Okay, minus 12x to the power of 2. And then we have to change all signs here. And then cross out 6x4 together, and then 29 plus 30 gonna give us here what? 1x cubed. Okay, and then 9 minus 12 negative 3x squared, and drop down the negative x. Next is to find what? Only plus x, because x times x squared gives x cubed, and the x by negative 5 is negative 5x squared, negative 5x squared, and here plus 2x. And then let's subtract here or change all signs. We have cross out x cubed and add up gives 2x squared, and negative x minus 2x and negative 3x. Since the degrees are equal, so we can continue and we can drop down now. Plus 7, we can drop down to plus 7, and then we have to multiply only by 2. So 2 by 2 squared, 2x squared, 2x squared, and 2 by negative 5, negative 10x, and then 2 times positive 2, which is positive what? Positive 4. And then let's change the signs, negative and here positive and here negative. We will cross out here the 2x squared, and negative 3x plus 10x gives 7x, and here 7 minus 4, which is plus 3, and since the degree here of the remainder is 1 and the degree of the divisor is 2, so we have to stop here and pick your correct choice. How to write your answer? Your quotient is 6x squared plus x plus 2, and then plus here what? The remainder, which is 7x plus 3 over the divisor, x squared minus 5x plus 2. This is the first question, and then we have to pick our what? Correct answer, which is letter C. Okay. Next question. Also divide. Yes, but we can use synthetic division here, because here negative 5, so I'm gonna use 5, the opposite sign, and pick all coefficients we have. We have 5 and negative 18, and then negative 30, and negative 29, and 29. Okay, drop down the 5. 5 times 5 is 25. We add up here. So it's here 7. 7 times 5, which is 35. When we subtract, it gives us here 5. 5 times 5 again is 25. When we subtract, what? Now give us here negative 4. Negative 4 times 5 equals negative 20. Okay, negative 20. When we add up here, it gives the remainder. The remainder here is 9. Okay, so to find or to write your final answer, your result of this division operation is equal to 5x to the power of 3. Since we started here power 4, so we have to write power 3 in the final answer, plus 7x to the power of 2, and then plus 5x, and then minus 4, and then plus the remainder, which is 9, this all over the divisor, which is x minus 5. X minus what? X minus 5. Okay, this is the final answer. Okay. Okay. Next question, I think here it's letter A. Okay, the next question. Factor each and find all roots. To find all roots here of this function, x to the power of 4 plus 2x cubed plus 3x squared plus 6x equals 0. Yes, we can find first all possible real rational zeros like p over q, and p here represents all factors of constant term, okay? And q here represents all factors of what? Of the leading coefficient, which is 1, so I think p here is 0. So since p is 0, and q is equal to 1, so all possible, it's what here, all possible what zeros of 0, it's a 0 over anything gives a 0. Yeah, 0 over what? Positive or negative 1 equals 0. So we have to test first the 0 using a synthetic division. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 6, and we have 0. And then let's do it here. Drop down the 1, 1 by 0, 0, 2, 2 by 0, gives what? 0. And here 3, 3 by 0, 0. Adding, it gives a 6. 6 by 0, 0, and 0 and 0 is what? 0. And since you remember is 0, so this number 0 is a root or 0 of this function. So let's write here that x, yes, we will write here that x is a 0 and it's a factor. 0 is a 0 and or root or x-intercept, so x is a factor. We have now x to the power of 3 plus 2x to the power of 2 plus 3x plus 6 equals 0, right? And then in the next step here is to factorize x cubed plus 2x squared plus 3x plus 6. So we can do it in the calculator. We can use synthetic division again and check here. You can use mod 5, 3. You can use mod 5, what? 4. You can use mod what? Mod, and then 5, and then 4, and then find the zeros, or you can check here negative 2 from the zeros, or you can make what? Mod 7, and then write this function all, and start from negative 10 to 10 on the calculator, so gives you all possible zeros, and then use one of them like negative 2 that gives y value of 0. Using synthetic division, which is it 0 or not? Negative 2, we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, and we have 6. Drop down the 1 by negative 2 is negative 2. Now it's what? 0. 0 times negative 2, 0. So we have 3, 3 times negative 2, negative 6, and gives a 0, so it's a 0. So we have x now and x plus 2, and we can complete from here, which is x squared plus 3 is equal to 0. So as you see here, guys, the factors are x and x plus 2 and x squared plus 3, and your roots are x equals 0, or x equals negative 2, or x equals x squared plus 3 equals 0, and x squared equals negative 3. By taking the square root for both sides, it's gonna give us, yes, positive or negative radical 3i. So your answer is letter A. Your answer is letter A, factors and roots. Next question. Also the same thing, guys. We would like to factorize and find all roots. X cubed plus 5x squared plus x plus 5. In this kind of questions, we should start first by finding all possible rational zeros, p over q, and p list all factors of 5, which is p here, and here is the q. The q is the leading coefficient, which is 1. So it's positive or negative 1 and positive or negative 5. and over positive or negative 1. So we have to divide them all, going to give us positive or negative 1 or positive or negative 5. Now we have 4 possible rational zeros, positive 1, negative 1, positive 5, negative 5. We can pick one of them, yes, and test. Yeah, after you have used your calculator quickly, mod 7, and then write the original function, execute plus 5x squared plus x plus 5, and start your calculator from negative 10 to 10. Yes, and check here the values between negative 10 and 10 that gives a y value of 0. I realized that negative 5 and 0 in the calculator, so I will use it and use synthetic division to make sure that it's a 0 also, how to show your answer. To show my work here, negative 5, and then pick here the coefficients. We have 1, 5, we have 1, we have 5. Make sure that all of them are written in descending order of exponent from x3 to the constant term. So like this, I change the color and drop down the 1. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5, adding up 0. 0 times negative 5 is 0, add up here, gives 1. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5, and thanks, the remainder is what? Is 0. Since the remainder is 0, I'm gonna continue here. Since the remainder is 0, so negative 5 is a 0 or root, and x plus 5 is a factor. Negative 5 is a 0, and x plus 5 is a factor. So x squared, you have to start x squared. Since your original function is x cubed, start by x squared plus 1 is equal to 0. And now solve either x plus 5 equals 0 and x equals negative 5. This is the first solution, or root. And either x squared plus 1 is equal to 0. And now x squared is equal to negative 1. And now x is equal to positive or negative radical 1i. Or we simply can be written as positive or negative I. So here, guys, your answer will be negative 5, positive or negative I. Negative 5, positive or negative I, and factors x plus 5 and x squared plus 1. Okay. Next question, solve each equation, round your answers to the nearest 10,000. 10,000. To solve this exponential equation, we should isolate it all, and don't see here, guys. 9 point. It's not it's not question number 9. Okay, it's 9 times. Take care of this point. 9. It's 9 times. It's 9 times 4 to the power of negative 9x minus 10 plus 8 is equal to 29. Okay, so it's not question number 9. Okay, guys, you should isolate 4 to the power of negative 9x plus minus 10 plus, yeah, you should isolate it. So we should subtract 8 first from both sides. Cancel this out. Yeah, you got 9 times 4 to the power of negative 9x minus 10 is equal to 29 minus 8, which is 21. Dividing each side by 9, divide here by 9. So we can put it here inside parentheses, it's better. And like this, it's better to know that 9 is multiplied. Cancel out the 9 by 9, and we have 4 to the power of 9x minus 10 is equal to 21 over 21 over 9. 21 over 9. Yes, can we make 21 over 9 as a base of 4? No, we can't. So simply, you have to take the logarithm base 4, log base 4 of 4 to the power of negative 9x minus 10 is equal to log base 4 of 21 over 9. Okay? Log base 4 of 4 gives a negative 9x minus 10, and because here it's 1, and drop down the exponent using logarithmic properties, we have here log base 4 of 21 over 9. The next step is to isolate the x, make x alone on one side. Yeah, and we have to add 10 to both sides, cancel it from here, and then divide all your answer by negative 9 as we used to do. And then evaluate by using your calculator, because I do not have a calculator here. So your answer here is what? Will be C, negative 1.6. 7, 9. Okay. Next problem. -3. The same idea, the same everything. So I will not solve. I'm gonna leave it for you to practice. Next question. How to solve the logarithmic equations? Log base 5 of 4 minus log base 5 of negative 4x. Of what? Of negative 4x. So my answer here, my answer is, you know, guys, since we have the same base, log base 5, and there is a subtraction, so we have to write it as a quotient, 4 over negative 4x, and this all equals to 2. So it's log base 5 of, we can cross out 4 with 4, so we have 1 over negative x, 1 over negative x, which is equal to 2. To solve this equation, we should exponentiate each side with a base of 5, like this. 5 to the power of log base 5 of negative 1 over x is equal to 5 to the power of 2. And since bases are equals, so exponents are equals, right? Yes, since bases here, sorry. Since bases here are equals, 5 here, 5, so you have to realize that the exponents here are equal. The exponents are equal. So we will write that negative 1 over x, okay, log base 5 of 5 is here, negative 1 over x is equal to 25, and then this 25 over 1. The next step only to flip and multiply by negative 1. So your answer x is equal to negative 1 over 25, which is here as a solution set in letter B. It's letter B. Next question. Next question here. Log base 9 of 10 plus log base 9 of x squared plus 3 equals log base 9 of 40. So simply write it as a single logarithm. Log base 9 of 10 multiplied by x squared plus 3 is equal to log base 9 of 40. Cross out log base 9 from each side. So we still have only 10x squared distributive property plus 30 is equal to 40. Subtract 30 from each side, so 10x squared is equal to 10. And dividing each side by 10 gives 1. And now x is equal to positive or negative 1. And your answer here is letter B. Simple and easy until now. Okay. A polynomial function with rational coefficients has the following zeros. Find all additional zeros. Since the given zeros are negative 4, 1 minus 3i, so you should add 1 plus 3i, simple here. And you know, so when we have, guys, for example, one more example, if we have 5 and I, what is the additional zeros you should add? You should add negative I. Yes, one more example. If I say in 2 and the negative 2 and radical 3, we should add negative radical 3 as an additional zeros. Here, writing a polynomial function of a least degree with integral coefficients that has the given zeros, negative 2 minus 3i and negative 2i. So what should we add here, guys? We should add, yes, we should add more zeros. We should add negative 2 plus 3i, and we should add what? Positive 2i. Okay? Yes, such that negative 2 minus 3i and negative 2 plus 3i are related. Yes, the number and its conjugate. And also negative 2i, its conjugate is positive 2i. Is positive 2i. Let's solve it here. Let's solve this question, guys. How to write the polynomial. So we write the polynomial p of x is equal to a into x minus negative 2 minus 3i multiplied by x minus negative 2 plus 3i. Okay? And next x minus 2i and x plus 2i. It's simple and easy here. Leave the a now. And let's do one trick here, guys, is to write it as x minus 2 can be written like this, x plus 2, because negative negative is positive. So x plus 2 minus 3i, and x plus 2 in one parentheses, and then minus 3i. So now it becomes a number and its conjugate. And here, x minus 2i multiplied by x plus 2i. You know, multiplying a number by its conjugate gonna give us here, multiplying any number by its conjugate gives what? Squaring of the first minus squaring of the second. Squaring of what? Squaring of the first minus squaring of the second. So it's a here, and then x plus 2 multiplied by x plus 2, it becomes x plus 2 all squared, minus square the second, squaring 3i gives 9i squared, and I squared is negative 1, so it becomes positive 9. And multiplying x minus 2, multiplying here, x minus 2 by its conjugate, x plus 2, this is going to give us squaring the first, x squared, and then square the second, becomes 4i squared, which is positive 4. Okay, because I squared is negative 1. In this kind of question, the question so gives you that f of something is equal to, yani, it should be like this, p of 3, for example, is equal to 1. Gives it p of 9 is equal to negative 2, like this, to be able to find the value of what? Of a. So I think that when he said at least of least degree of integral coefficients, this means that a is what? Is 1. So let's multiply and leave a at the end. First of all, I'm gonna expand here x plus 2 all squared. To expand this part, it will be x squared plus first by second by 2, like a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So x squared plus 4x plus 4, and then plus 9, and this multiplied by x plus 4. Yes, equals, this is a, and x squared plus 4x, then plus 13, and here x squared plus what? Plus 4. Yes. Then, sorry, the final step is to multiply here the binomial by this trinomial, multiplying this x by all terms you have, multiply this x by all terms you have, x squared multiplied by x squared, and x squared by 4x, like this, distributive property. When you do this, guys, it's a, and then gonna give us x to the power of 4 plus 4x to the power of 3 plus 13x squared. Okay, and then plus, do the same thing with 4, plus 4x squared plus 16x plus 52, and then combine like terms. To combine like terms here, x to the power of 4 stay the same. This is p of x, and I think that a is 1. A will be 1, okay? So it's x to the power of 4, because all our answers here without something x to the power of 4, and you know the leading coefficient is 1. So this means that a is 1, okay? But in all other questions, لازم في missing في additional information here, p of 3 equals 1, any other information, يعني p of something equals كده 1, 3 to find the value of a. So this is a missing question. So p of x to the power of 4 plus 4x to the power of 3 plus 4x to the power of 3. And then we have to combine here the terms including x cubed, combine here these terms, gonna give us what? 17x squared. 17x squared, then plus 16x plus 52. So it's letter A. Yeah, and maybe it depends on a function of least degree. So your answer here simply will be letter A. Okay, guys, it's a very tall answer, but you have to follow this steps all to reach your final step and to write your answer or to pick your correct answer. Next question, the inverse trig functions, how to find the exact value of tan inverse of cosine 0. Cosine 0, what is the value of cosine 0? Simply find first cosine 0. Cosine 0 is 1. Tan inverse of 1, what angle? It's tan is 1. It's pi over 4. That's it. Next question. The same thing. Write cosine inverse and find first the value of secant pi. Secant is 1 over cosine. Yeah, and cosine pi. Cosine pi is negative 1, right? Cosine pi is negative 1, so 1 over negative 1. So it's a cosine inverse of 1 over negative 1. And this will be cosine inverse of negative 1. And now think what angle its cosine is negative 1. It's pi. It's what? It's pi. Next question, find the exact value, the same as this question. Find the exact value of each expression. Cotan tan inverse of x. Cotan tan inverse of x. Here, it's x over 1, right? So we should find first the value. We have to draw the triangle and the tan inverse of x here. We have to draw a triangle, and the triangle here will be in the AST C, so either in the first and second quadrant. So it's in the first quadrant, we will draw a triangle, right triangle, and here the angle theta. Because we're gonna let here tan inverse of x is equal to theta. So we can say theta is equal to, sorry, we can say x is equal to tan theta, so, and here x over 1. So tan is opposite over adjacent. So opposite is x and adjacent is 1. So you can find simply the hypotenuse in this right triangle gonna be x squared plus 1. X squared plus 1. Okay. And then the question was asking you to find cotan. Cotan this thing, I let tan inverse of cotan theta. So cotan theta here, cotan, يعني reciprocal of what? Of tan. And since here tan is x over 1, so cotan will be 1 over x. Okay, which is letter C. Next question. If secant theta minus pi over 2 is equal to 1.89, find cosecant theta. This is a rule, guys. This is rule. Secant, this is identity. Theta minus pi over 2 is equal to cosecant theta, since cosecant and secant are co-functions. So your answer will be stay the same. Okay? And secant theta minus pi over 2 is the same as cosecant theta, which is 1.89. Solve each equation, and your domain is between 0 and 2 pi. To solve this equation, okay, yes, 4 plus secant squared theta equals 2 sine theta plus 3. Okay, let's combine all theta in one side. So let's write as secant squared theta minus 2 secant theta equals what? 3 minus 4, which is negative 1. So again, we can write it as secant squared theta minus 2 secant theta is equal to, not equal to, plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, if we factorize here, or let secant all is equal to u, or factorizing directly, factorizing here as secant theta and secant what? Theta. Here, 1 and 1. And since the last term has a positive sign, so both of them take the same as the middle term sign. And now, let's divide here our paper into 2 parts. Let secant theta is equal, minus 1 equals 0, and then equals to 1. Or secant again theta is equal to 1. So it's repeated, the same thing. So I'm gonna do one only of them. Let's do this one here. To find theta is equal to what? Let's reciprocal it first. 1 over cosine theta is equal to 1. So what's cosine? I'm going to erase the second one now. I'll solve that. So cosine theta is equal to 1 also. So cosine theta, I'm going to complete here. Cosine theta is equal to 1, and then theta is equal to cosine inverse or inverse cosine of 1. What angle its cosine is 1? It's 0, or what? Cosine 0, cosine pi, no, not pi. 0 and 2 pi, but 2 pi is outside our domain, so your answer will be 0 only, okay? Your answer is 0, and your answer is A. Thanks. Next question. Solve the trig equation. Yes, radical 2 cotan theta, cosine theta plus cotan theta is equal to 0. So let's solve it. Think that there is a common factor here, cotan theta. So if we took it as a greatest common factor here, cotan theta here, what should we have? Radical 2 cosine theta plus 1 is equal to 0. Yes, so simply, this is cotan, sorry. Yes, so simply either cotan theta is equal to 0 or, yes, either the first, using a zero product property that cotan theta is equal to 0, or radical 2 cosine theta plus 1 is equal to 0. From the first one, we can flip first as tan. Okay, we can flip first as cotan as what? Cotan is 1 over tan theta is equal to 0. And this 0 over 1, when we flip both sides, gonna give us tan theta equals 1 over 0, which is undefined. It's undefined here. Okay, there is a vertical asymptote to that here. Okay. Solving this equation, so radical 2 cosine theta equals a -1, and isolate cosine theta in one side, so it's -1 over radical 2. Yes, so cosine here is negative, and its value is 1 over radical 2, or it's negative radical 2 over 2. Both are correct. Okay, so cosine is negative in which quadrant? ASTC. ASTC. Okay, 1 minute. Bye. ASTC. So cosine is negative. Cosine is negative in the second and the third quadrant, as you know. So what angle in the first quadrant has a cosine value of radical 2 over 2? Yes? Yes, correct. Radical 2 over 2, which is cosine 45. Cosine what? 45. Okay. Okay, so we have to find what angle in the first quadrant, okay, that its inverse cosine of radical 2 over 2 gives pi over 4. Okay, but we know that cosine is negative in two quadrants, the second quadrant and the third quadrant. Okay, so in the second quadrant, to find your angle, your solution, in the second quadrant, we can name it theta 2 equals, it's pi plus pi over 4. And pi plus pi over 4, which is 4 over 4 pi plus 1 over 4 pi, which is 5 pi over 4. This is the first what? The first answer here. 5 pi over 4. Okay? So 5 pi over 4, either C or D. Let's here do the second angle اللي موجودة in the third quadrant, which is this is in the third quadrant. It's my bad. Okay, my mistake, guys. So this one will be pi minus pi over 2, pi minus pi over 2, which is here 4 over 4 minus, it's a 3 pi over 4. Yes, 3 pi over 4, which is what? Letter C. And in the third quadrant will be pi plus pi over 4, which is 5 pi over 4. So we have now, we pick now, we reach two answers, which is letter C. But why letter C have two other solutions, pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2? Yes, I know that we have in this class, in 11B, all of you are excellent, and I have at least 30 of you. Okay, we have 25 of you know the answer. Why? Pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2. Because as you know, guys, the vertical asymptotes of tan function, the vertical asymptote of tan function lies at all of multiples of pi over 2. And since tan theta is undefined, this means that we have vertical asymptotes at these points. At what? At pi over 2, at 3 pi over 2, at 5 pi over 2, and so on. So if you remember while we graphed the other trig functions like tan and cotan, we always have vertical asymptotes at pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2. And since the first branch of our question here was undefined, so theta is undefined at pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2, which lies between 0 and 2 pi. Next question. Okay. Okay. Negative cosecant theta equals negative secant theta cosecant theta plus secant theta minus cosecant theta. We have two sides here. We would like to solve quickly this question. So you can plug in numbers, guys, by substituting for pi over 3 or pi over 4 in all theta here, if it's solution or not, if the two sides are equal or not. This is one way. The other way is to solve the equation. So negative cosecant theta will be the same. And I think that we have here what negative cosecant theta equals. Like in the right-hand side, negative secant theta plus secant theta minus cosecant theta. Guess what should we do here? We have to take cosecant first to the other side, negative cosecant theta, and move this one to the other side here. It will be positive cosecant theta, which is 0, equal. The right-hand side, negative secant theta, we can take it as a common factor. We can take it all, negative secant theta. So we still have only cosecant theta minus 1. And cosecant theta minus 1. Okay. So 0 is equal to negative secant theta into cosecant theta minus 1. Okay, so we have either secant theta is equal to 0 or cosecant theta minus 1 is equal to 0. We have negative here, divide it, stay the same, secant theta is equal to 0. Okay, so from the first one here, secant is 1 over cosine equal to 0. And when we flip here, cosine theta is equal to 1 over 0, which is undefined, and the cosine is not defined. Cosine is continuous function and differentiable function, so it's continuous everywhere, so it's not correct here, and no solution. Okay, here cosecant theta, cosecant theta is equal to 1, and then 1 over sine theta is equal to 1. Yes, why we complete aslan يبقى sine theta is equal to 1 also, and sine is equal to 1. So one part of the question has no solution, so don't complete. It's no solution. Next question, I'm gonna leave it the same, guys, but I'm leave it for you to solve. And let's verify each identity, which is the last part of our curriculum. Verify each identity. Tan 3 pi over 4 minus theta equals negative 1 minus tan theta over 1. You know, guys, I'm going to remind you of our rule. Tan alpha minus theta is equal to fraction, and then 10 the first alpha, okay, the same sign here, tan theta, over 1 plus, okay, 1 plus tan alpha multiplied by tan beta. Okay, this is the rule, you should know. This is our what? Our rule, we should what? You should know. Here is it. Okay? Okay. So let's apply it here, guys. Tan 3 pi over 4 minus theta equals, make a fraction, and then 10 the first, which is 10, 3 pi over 4 minus 10 the second, theta, over 1 plus, so here is minus, so this one will be plus, then 10, 3 pi over 4 multiplied by 10 theta, which is equal to, sorry, 10 3 pi over 4, we know it, it's a negative 1. Okay, because 3 pi over 4 is in the second quadrant, so it's 10 is negative, and this is what coterminal with 10 with pi over 4 minus 10 theta, or you can do it in the calculator, 1 plus negative 1 times 10 theta. So your answer is negative 1 minus 10 theta, and then over 1 minus again 10 theta. Okay, okay, that's it, leave it. So your answer here is letter what? Letter D. Easy. Next question, find the exact value of tan theta is equal to radical 7 over 3, and this angle theta is between 180 and 270. Find tan theta over 2. Okay. Okay. To solve this question, it's simple and easy. As he said here, guys, that the angle lies between 180 and 270, or sometimes it's given as theta is greater than or equal pi and less than 3 pi over 2 in radians. So simply we have to draw quickly our what? Standard position, and we know between pi and 200 and 3 pi over 2, or between 180 and 270 is in the third quadrant. Okay, so here is the angle, theta. Hello. Okay, we know that tan is radical 7 over 3, and the tan in the same time is opposite over adjacent, so the opposite will be radical 7 and let it negative because we are moving down in the to south, and it's a negative 3 here to be adjacent since we are moving to west or to the left. So to find the hypotenuse in this right triangle, you know all using Pythagorean theorem, which is squaring the negative 3 plus squaring the radical 7 all square. So simply your answer here is radical 9 plus 7. And your answer is radical 16, and radical 16 is what? Is 4. So the hypotenuse here is what? Is 4. Yeah. And to solve this question and to find the question, which is find the tan theta over 2, half angle identity, theta over 2 is equal to 1 minus cosine theta over sine theta, okay? Yes, which is equal to 1 minus cosine theta here is what? We should find cosine first and sine. So what's cosine? From the triangle, cosine is what? Is adjacent over hypotenuse. And the adjacent here is negative 3 over the hypotenuse, which is 4. Also find sine theta to help us find our question, which is opposite over hypotenuse, and opposite over hypotenuse, which is negative radical 7 over the hypotenuse 4. Okay, use this data and substitute here. We are substituting a negative 3 over 4 for cosine x, and substituting down here in the denominator, negative radical 7 over 4, and then simplify. 1 plus now, because negative is positive, 3 over 4, and this all over negative radical 7 over 4. Your answer will be 7 over 4, and this all over negative radical 7 over 4, and then the final step is tan theta over 2, or your question is equal to, we can cross out 4 with 4, and we still have 7 over negative radical 7, multiplying by the conjugate radical 7 up and down. So we have 7 radical 7 over negative 7 radical 7, and so easy now to cross out. Sorry, no. Don't cross out the radical with radical, it's not radical 7. Sorry here guys, it's only 7. Multiplying radical by itself gives the radical, the number inside. So we cross out 7 with 7, and we still have only negative radical 7. And negative radical 7 here is letter A. Is letter A. So the answer is A. Okay, next question. To verify the identity here, we would like to verify each identity. We still have 3 questions. And then we're gonna finish. So, yes, to verify here the identity, 1 plus cosine 2x over cosecant x secant x equals 2 cosecant cubed x sine x. Okay. Okay, we can start here from which side? From the right-hand side or from the left-hand side? Okay, to solve it here, I will start first from the left-hand side. As we know, guys, I'm gonna take 1 plus cosine 2x over cosecant x secant x, and I will use the double angle identity. The fact that cosine 2x is equal to 1 minus 2 sine squared x. So my answer simply will be 1, and replace cosine 2x by 1 minus 2 sine squared x. So it's gonna be 1 plus 1 minus 2 sine squared x, and this all over cosecant x secant x. Next step is to combine like terms. So we have now, we have 2, 1 and 1 is 2, minus 2 sine squared x, and this all over cosecant x secant x. Take 2 as a common factor up here. So 2, we still have 1 minus sine squared x over cosecant x secant x. And the next step, I'm gonna complete up here. Yes, we have 2 and 1 minus, you know, this identity, guys, 1 minus sine squared, 1 minus sine squared is equal to cosine squared. So it's a cosine squared x, and this all over cosecant x secant x. Okay, let's split here this fraction into the product of 2 fractions, like 2 cosine squared x over over what? Over secant x. You have to be smart. And here 1 over cosecant x. Why? Because I have sine x here, and to get sine, I have to write 1 over cosecant, which is sine x. Okay? So that's done. But here is 2, and cosine squared x over secant. You know, guys, that secant x is what over what? Is 1 over cosine x. So the denominator of the denominator is numerator. So simply my answer will be 2 cosine squared x times cosine x, which is cosine cubed x times sine x, and which is the right hand what? Which is the right hand side. Which is what? The right hand side. So the 2 sides now are equal. So the equation is verified. Okay. Okay. Okay, the next question, 10x over sine 2x is equal to 1 over 2 cosine squared x. Always, I'm going to start from the left-hand side in this question. Not always, guys, you can start from any side, and you see that I'm going to open the question and verify that 2 sides are equal. And let's prove here that the right and hand side are equal. From the right side, from the left-hand side, we have tan, and we know that tan is sine x over cosine x, and this all over sine 2x. Sine 2x, which is 2 sine x cosine x, the double angle identity. And we know when we divide any 2 numbers, 3 over 4, we can write it as 3 divided by 4. Okay, so if you have 3 over 1 over 4, you can write it as 3 divided 1 over 4, and then keep it change flip, right? Yes, so this is what I'm gonna do here. Sine x over cosine x and flip the other denominator as 1 over 2 sine x cosine x. So sine x over cosine x, right? Yes, we can simplify here. We can cross out the sine with the sine, right? We can cancel out sine x with sine x, and then final step here is to multiply the numerators, which is 1, and cosine times 2 cosine x, which is 2 cosine squared x. 2 cosine what? 2 cosine squared x. This is a beautiful 2. So, which is equal to the right-hand side. Thanks a lot. This is for this question. So, the right and the left are equal. So, the equation is verified. Okay. Yes, next and last question. Geneva invests $1,345 in a retirement account with a fixed annual interest rate of 2% compounded continuously. What will the account balance be after 20 years? After 20 years. As you see here, guys, he said that the interest rate is 2% and the principal, the original amount of money she invested here in this retirement account is 1,345, and what will be the account 20, and also the important issue in this question that her account, this interest rate always compounded continuously. So as you know, we have this formula, A, the balance equal the principal E to the power of RT. So the balance A is equal to the principal, which is $1,345 multiplied by E to the power of, because it's continuously, E to the power of what? R. R is 2%, so 0.02 multiplied by 20 years. Okay, and then calculator. Calculator gives you this answer, 2006.50. Thank you, and I hope you guys got full mark in your test, inshallah. And don't hesitate, guys, to contact me via WhatsApp and ask me for all questions you don't know or any misunderstanding thoughts. Thank you. I hope you the success, and inshallah see you inshallah next term. Keep safe and goodbye.